SGDC. More known as Sad Game Developer Conference, where we sit and cry and share our endless journeys to releasing a game. Lol. First up, Leene.
Don't get too excited, James.
I mean, I was fighting the urge to pronounce her name incorrectly.
I'm not sad. For example, first reason why I'm not sad is that Death and Taxes is now on PlayStation from today. Woo! So that's awesome. That's the last of the Xbox, Switch, and PlayStation. So now I can choose which people live or die on any console. Currently working on 2 other games, which I'm making some marketing stuff for. For example, I made this cute overview of all the 4 factions with a character. That's what's next to it, and also inspired by some other games that are doing this, added the widget for wishlisting and put the click here button that is animated and hopefully bring some attention to it. But yeah, the 4 factions with one of the creatures here. The other stuff is old already. We have shown this, but yeah, this is how it looks like. The other game, Craft, we have also a new thing, because that one didn't have any visual stuff yet. I decided to animate our lovely dark elf character and make it blink and make a very I don't know what's this effect about this, like, ooh, click here. So yeah, wish list the games if you haven't yet. Yeah, I made new, because Broken Alliance had ones that look like this. Doesn't have any on Steam, different pictures. They didn't have any character in there or anything. I was like, this needs something else that brings more attention, so I added our flower dragon to all of those, peeking out on the small capsule, and this is the regular one that you probably already saw in here as well. Hello. And made these. This one I'm wearing as well for the whole team. And yeah, and the last thing I wanted to show right now was today I was making a character portrait, and I just found it very amusing, because I started making a character, and it's like a demo character, the character that you play as at first, and then I read the description and I didn't see that the character was supposed to be female elf, not male elf. So it went through a transition, and now it's actually a trans character who is now a pretty woman instead of a pretty man before. And I was that was today. I started with this, and then I was like, oh no, that was not supposed to be it. So I just changed it. It was a lot of fun making a female character out of a male character. So yeah, that was just wanted to share it, because now we have a trans character. By mistake. Oops. Why not? Okay, so that's it for me. Any questions? No question. Yes.
Are the hoodies merch or team only?
Currently for team, but later on they will be also merch and they available to like print on demand kind of thing. But currently we just ordered a bunch for the whole team because we're a online team mostly all over the world, and I felt like maybe sending these to everybody would make us feel like more connected in a way, having more team vibe kind of. And when we go to places, then that can be a good advertisement for it as well. Yes, James.
Are you gonna make hoodies with the creatures from Broken Alliance as well?
Maybe. I want to make other things. Currently, the next merch that I'm making is metal pins, like with some creatures from both games, basically. A bunch of those, and I want to have this thing where I'm like gonna go around and be like, if you wishlist the game and show that you wishlisted, then you get the pin. So, so it's a buying in wishlists with pins. That's my evil plan now. Yeah. Yes.
I haven't seen the dragon before, but I don't know if you talked about it before. But what role does it play in the game?
So the dragon actually, I showed before. Oh, it's in here as well. The dragon was made for the trailer itself as well. It's in here. In this scene. The dragon is the. So each faction has five different creatures, and dragon is the biggest one of Paradise. And it's a flower dragon, so it's like is covered with like some leaves and flowers. So that's the type of a dragon. We don't have any traditional dragon. That's the only one that we have in there. But because this looked so amazing, the battle scene in here, and I was like, we need some character to be the the cover boy, so to speak. Then I was like, oh, dragon kind of says that it's a fantasy game in a way, having dragons in there, so it kind of communicates that. And also we want to get, with our bright and cute stuff, also appeal to the right audience, basically, because we want to make this a very shiny world that people who love shiny stuff would also enjoy. Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Next up with frog noises, Brian.
Hello. I have not shared any of this before. I've been working on some music for Frog-like, the game being published by Spelkollektivet and worked on by Johanna, who's going to be on later, and Remy. I will say the kind of the brief was to have multiple tension layers for the music within the game, so that when there were more bugs on the screen that were kind of coming towards the frog, that you would have different levels of intensity that would reflect that. So I'll just play some of the music, and we can talk about it afterwards if necessary as well. So yeah. So this is your starting tension level. Now for the mid-level tension, which should layer into this. This is the Fall Guys moment. I think that was a direct inspiration for this section. Don't sue me. Level 3. When there's a lot of stuff going on. Nightclub bangers as well. Brilliant. And the last thing is just, it's an idea, it wasn't especially part of what I needed to do, but it's just for when you level up potentially, just a chill music that just kind of comes in. Similar to the level 1 intensity, just the moment of calm when you're selecting things. Not 100% decided whether this will be used, but yeah. Buy the game. Review the game. Unlike me, I haven't reviewed the game yet, but hey, I'm working on the game. I would feel morally corrupt if I was to review the game if I'm working on it in some form.
But nothing you worked on is in the game yet, so.
Not yet.
You guys just write it in your review?
Not yet. Oh. That's not my music. Cool. Any questions? That was well timed. Yeah, Martin?
Is it transitioning between intensities? Is that going to be implemented through FMod?
Yes, because Johanna is already implementing a lot of the sound design, ambience and stuff for the game in Fmod. It's going to be set up partially, I think it's going to be set up in a vertical layering kind of system with a couple of the layers, but the third tension level is almost like a whole separate kind of track that it would kind of move to horizontally, but it wouldn't, currently at the moment it's set up to just kind of start the track, but it will move to a relative position kind of in, so you're not hearing the same start level 3 tension over and over again, and going to be refined a bit further by having some transition stingers that will help with the crossfading between sections as well. Just short, very short musical kind of things to kind of go into the tension layer and then also drop out again. Yeah. Yeah, Matt?
I noticed that you're kind of mixing chiptune sounds with instrument samples and other synths and stuff. What was your kind of reasoning for that approach? I really like how it sounds.
Well, a lot of there was a mix of references that I received from Johanna and Remy, that some of it was kind of classic chiptuney stuff, like trying to think, Mega Man and some other things like that, and then there was some more modern kind of electronic stuff as well, Fall Guys and some other stuff. So I think I just kind of pulled from that. There was some earlier iterations which I think were purely chiptune or very much mostly chiptune, but when I started working on the higher intensity levels, more electronic, traditional kind of electronic instruments kind of came in to kind of give that, I don't know, weird club vibe for a frog game. It's an interesting approach. I don't know what James thinks about it. Have you heard this before?
It's the first time I hear it, but I feel like at the highest intensity, maybe we should drop a disco ball at the top of the screen.
Yeah. Any other questions? But this is going to be iterated a bit further on, I think. I might still have some minor adjustments to some of the layers. We'll see. But I have those at the moment. So, yeah. Cool. Thank you.
All right. Next up, Johanna. Talk about adding disco balls.
I'm not gonna talk about disco balls.
Okay, next talker.
I'm gonna talk about Toad and Froglike. And yeah, first I'm Johanna, and I work on this game. It's called Froglike, and it's on Steam. You can buy it, you can review it. We have 93 now, so compared to last week, that's 4 more. We only need 7 more for 100. Woohoo! Getting close. Yeah. So this week I've been working on adding Toad's story to the game. So this is the first time we're adding more chapters and adding more achievements. So these are the icons for the achievements on Steam, and they are also reused slightly different in the game for the quests that we call them there. And yeah, then I drew the update picture, and I gave Toad a lot of muss because his story is about how he feels weak. He's beaten by all the flies, and he wants to train. He makes a plan, and he wants to become stronger. And in the end, it's a little bit of a spoiler, but you can also see it in the picture. He gets more muss, which is armor in our game. And yeah, this is the start of it. So this is all our stories about frogs, like the characters. They start with an end chapter that starts off the story. So this is when Toad is beaten by all the flies because he was cocky and said he could eat all of them, but then he couldn't, so he dies. Or he doesn't die, he's defeated. No one dies. Not the flies either. It's very wholesome and nice. Yeah, and no, okay, I didn't have more slides, but so for this story I've been adding a new condition for what triggers an achievement, which is because previously we had completing chapters as an achievement, but the point of this chapter is that you don't complete it. So first I had to try very hard to make sure that you can't complete it, so it should not be completable. And we had to fix some bugs to make that happen, so that was good. But yes, I had to add a condition for a story, for a reward to unlock. We already had the reaching, but then I had to add a code for this chapter to never appear again, because it's not a chapter that you can beat, so I don't want it to be playable again. And then I had to add conditions for upcoming chapters to appear based on how many bounties, which is the stronger bugs with a white outline that appear, because the whole Toad training arc is about eating the strongest bugs and becoming stronger. Yeah, you have to play it to find out how it goes. And yeah, I also drew more like under the muss. This is what toads look like. Totally. Yeah, that's it. Any questions? No. Okay. Thank you.
When will the music be in the game?
Oh, that depends on when it's done. And there is still, like, even though I'm already using Fmod for other things, it's still like it's the first project I'm using Fmod for, so to integrate it all and to set it up, it's gonna take some work. And yeah, I've learned that I'm very bad at estimating, so I'm not gonna estimate it. But later, it will be in the game later.
So not
Not now, later.
and not in the past.
No, not in the past either. You would have noticed, I think.
I would have.
Yeah,
Okay.
if you played the game, you would.
I
know.
don't.
No, I know. Remy.
What would be in next week's update?
On next week's update, we are adding difficulties to the game. So right now, Remy is working on implementing to scale up the difficulty of the chapters, like to make the bugs more difficult to eat, and I'm working on the UI to get it. And we are also, I think we have settled on how you unlock it and what's the achievement or quest behind it. Yep. Yes.
What will the difficulties be named?
Right now they're named hard and harder. Yep.
So with 2 difficulties in the game?
Yeah. Well, there is the standard that is just normal.
Okay,
Which
so
is
it's
not-
called normal.
No, that's not called anything because you don't choose it. That's just what's there. So we don't display it anywhere. And then if you want, you can tick a box for, oh, I want harder or harder. Yeah. So it's not called anything because it's not written anywhere. James is looking very confused about it.
Is it 2 checkboxes?
Yeah.
So you can choose hard,
Mm?
or you can choose harder.
Or you can uncheck them and nothing is chosen.
Can I choose hard and harder?
No, you can't. You only get one. It's harder or harder. Or none. Yeah, okay. And Brian?
This is feedback disguised as a question. But will there be a difficulty called totally hard?
Yes.
No, that won't fit on my UI.
Oh,
It's
okay.
too long. Sorry.
Working on this. Haven't been paid yet, so I shouldn't.
Okay. Thank you.
Next up, Andrei.
So I'm pretty new and I don't know where is my thing. Probably here. Probably here. Hello, my name is Andrei. I'm from Romania, from a small city but with a nice castle. My background is web dev. I've been working in web dev for 8 years. I was mostly working in startup companies and I was heavily underpaid, so I decided to make games with Unreal Engine.
That's not your issues.
So with blueprints, of course. So I made a lot of unfinished games, of course, in gems in the past, with a lot of different things, and even with more things like a gun shop builder thing, and then like a card combat thing. I did a lot of stuff. This is only just a few. Then I tried to finish a game with space, and you just travel through the space. You select a planet and then you travel more. I supposed to, yeah, I don't have a video there. No, I don't have a video, but you just travel through space and avoid things, and it's like an endless runner. So this helped me to find a job. So I collaborate with this guy, Dragon Game Dev. We did some YouTube games. One that is not here is the Pokemon Gun game, if you heard of it. So the YouTube stuff didn't work very well, and he decided to make mobile games, and we made some mobile games. But mobile games weren't for me, so we part ways. And yeah, I looked in different areas. Unreal Engine for Fortnite was released 2 years ago, which is pretty interesting for Unreal scripting language. I also did some maps for it, like with trucks, and that one very iconic. So my next project that I want to make is something similar to Project Zomboid, where you explore some lands and find stuff, find gear, find better gear, and survive. But before this project, I want to make a smaller project, Vampire Survival clone, very basic. This mainly to understand better the gameplay ability system of Unreal, which allows you to have like abilities and stats and elemental stuff, and it also works for multiplayer. So this is my this is the project that I'm working on, which is prototype phase right now, but yeah, probably next time I'll come with more stuff that I made for it. Games. I play a lot of games. My favorites from the childhood, Mafia and Freelancer. I'm waiting for Path of Exile 2 and Satisfactory to come out, and my most played are Dota and Counter-Strike. And that's about it. It's a very short presentation. Questions? Yes.
So the Vampire Survivors clone you're making, are you doing that in the Fortnite engine?
No, this is Unreal. The Fortnite stuff, I was just looking for the Unreal scripting language, which is new, and I hope it will be in Unreal soon. But it's not yet in Unreal. That's why I just looked at it.
Did you consider doing it in Fortnite? I don't know.
Yeah, but it's quite limited right now. So in Fortnite, in the modding tools of Fortnite, you can do basic stuff right now, and they keep adding stuff to it, of course, but it's very limited. It's mostly like you just build worlds for content that they have, like Lego stuff, or the car thing on Fortnite is new. You can have like levels. You basically add levels. You don't have much custom gameplay in Fortnite yet. They are planning to add it, but I don't know when. Yes.
2 questions. How long are you planning on staying, and how did you find out about Spelkollektivet?
So I'm planning to stay this summer until October maybe. And I found out years ago about Spelkollektivet through Twitch.
Twitch.
Yes. People watch this sometimes.
I didn't know anyone watched this shit.
Yeah, great.
This is why you do it. How long are you staying?
Yeah, so until October. Yeah, any more questions? No.
Alright, thank you. It must have been one of the few streams I didn't say something stupid. Alright. Next up, Åke.
Sorry. Actually, I'm not. I'm thinking about. Sorry. Okay. Let's start from the beginning.
Use the arrows.
No worries. So difficulty in puzzle game design is something I'm thinking too much about, and I can't really decide. There are some principles of good puzzle designs. I really like this video from Game Maker's Toolkit. what makes a good puzzle, and it basically has three parts: the catch, the revelation, and the assumption. And at first, it should seem obvious how to solve a puzzle, and but then you go and find a catch that, oh, I can't just do this simple thing. I have to do something else, and you have to think through. So you learn something new. You have to figure out something new, and that new thing is the revelation. And then you're like, aha, nice. And then when you go to the next puzzle, you have the assumption. So you learned something, but now you assume something that is gonna lead you into the catch. So it's like, if you make a good puzzle design, it's like cyclical. You make an assumption, and you try to do that simple solution, and you get into a catch, and you have to rethink it, and you find the revelation to solve the puzzle. And then there's also like opt-in difficulty, for example in platformers. Then it's like most platformers is like jumping and running, and sometimes there are like collectibles or multiple paths that you can follow that have different difficulty in them. Like Super Mario is really does that a lot. Like you can clear a lot of levels just by running and jumping to the right. But then you can also go for star coins or Yoshi coins, and Snake Pass, for example, you don't need to get any of collectibles. You only need to get the key objects, but then the collectibles are purely extra and much harder than the rest of the game. So that's like one way to do difficulty, where you can clear the game and then go for the collectibles. But the way I'm thinking about my game right now is that I think I want different difficulty setting, because you should have an easy mode where you basically shown small steps. Like you should be able, if I give this to a person who's not, I want this to be a teaching tool. I want them to learn physics and learn different stuff. So I want a brain dead mode, so to speak, where they could start a level. They have super easy yellow levels in this case, that are just where they are shown what they can do with different like mechanics or physics. Or it's simple like, oh, you activate this button and it happened, and the puzzle is basically solved. So there's a saying in movies they say show don't tell, and in games we often say do don't show. So I might make the levels a bit more complicated than just showing, so they actually have to press a button to actuate so I would call it like actuator levels, where you initiate the state of the game, but you're not really solving problems. The level almost solves itself. And then I would maybe have like these yellow levels might be skipped if you use a normal difficulty levels, because they're too easy. For normal difficulty levels, you would have like the green and blue levels, and you start with one level and they get a little bit harder. And then the red levels will be, for example, optional difficulty levels. And then you can also choose maybe puzzle difficulty. And that would be basically green and red difficulties. Then you would skip a lot of levels, but you won't be shown all the steps of how to solve a puzzle. And that would be more difficult and more puzzling, so to speak. So that's what I'm thinking about right now. I'll see how I try this out. But you might have a level select screen like this with different themes. And flow, I think flow is good for learning, but I'm also thinking that puzzle games are maybe supposed to be anti-flow, where you have to have this, the three-step part, where you have the assumption, the catch, and the revelation. And that's kind of anti-flow. You have to stop and think. You can't just flow through it. So in this is a hard level. You have to think a lot and go through a lot. So this would be a hard level. And yeah. So this would Any questions? Yes?
I'm not sure quite how to phrase this, but like, in what way do you feel like just demonstrating the level rather than making somebody solve it can help teach them, I guess?
If you go through, what makes a good puzzle is that it makes it very memorable if you're forced to think it through yourself and find the solution yourself. That makes it memorable and enjoyable as a puzzle game, which might be better for learning, or it might be slower for learning. I'm not sure yet. Is that a good answer? Okay, good enough. Remy?
Are you thinking of these kind of collectibles for your game, like guides? Collectibles that would, you know, like have an optional, harder solution for your puzzles?
I'm thinking about it. For example, I might lock away the harder levels behind a more difficult path, so you don't get to it unless you want to really try to. So that I might do that. Collectibles right now, I don't think so. That would be the most, basically an alternative exit, for example. Okay, thanks.
Tomáš.
So hello, I did some stuff in Syntaxia, so let's get into it. First one is scene loading. So I wanted to implement system where you can change scenes in one frame, which can be helpful in scene transitions, or like, for example, when you die and you want to change scenes really fast. So the structure of it is simple. Basically, you always want to have loaded UI and gameplay scene, and then you can swap all the preloaded maps after that. So it looks like you have multiple layers on each other, and after that you can just swap the map afterwards. And it works like if you spawn in some room at the start, it will check for any possibilities if you can go to another room, and if you can go there, then you will preload those scenes, and when you go to those scenes you can just switch it in one frame. So next thing, I implemented enums into my dialogue system, which is like just integer in disguise, and gamepad support, but right now it's implemented only like halfway because I didn't figure out how to do it for like laptop, but I will do it with virtual cursor because like it's the most simple way. And again, translations, because like we found out that only 30% of Steam users have English language, so that's like 60-70 people, 70% people which we don't get. So I've tried to implement DeepL translations instead of actual Google translations, which are claiming that it's much better for languages like German, Chinese, Japanese, and so on. But for Slovak language it sucks equally, so I don't know. So I implemented into the graphic system, and I can just click translate to DeepL and for Slovak language, and it will do it automatically. But it has its problems, so I'm benchmarking it in my language, which is Slovak language, and for example this simple sentence, it's like we can focus on first part, which is the radiator hums ominously, and sounds pretty easily, but radiator has different meanings as well. So DeepL decided that he wants to use like a car cooling radiator instead of like heating one. So I was confused. But after that, I've implemented like description or some context for every translation, which exports to spreadsheets as well. And for example, if anyone wants to look at the translations, he can see the context as well. And DeepL actually supports context when you send it through API. And after that, he corrected himself, and now we are friends again. So, yeah. And I will be gone for the whole May, but then I will be back. And yeah, that's all. Thanks for attention.
Do you want someone who speaks German to look at the German translation to tell you if it's shit
Like,
or not?
yes, but later. Yeah.
Does your dialogue system support like an easy export-import system as well? Like if we wanna,
yeah.
like for example, export all the German one in
Yes.
a file so they can easily
Yes, yes,
edit.
yes. Like this is synchronized with Google Spreadsheets, and actually I'm using another asset which is handling translations, but I'm building my stuff on top of it. So yeah, but you can do it.
What are you using for? I saw you had some visual scripting. What are you using to create that? Is that self-made or is that a tool?
It's like half self-made and half GitHub
Okay.
project. Yeah. Okay.
Did you consider any other services? Or?
Yes, but I think those two are the better one, which like are easy to implement and actually have like free API. James.
I think Andrei is wondering if the icons you used for the buttons, are they Romanian?
Which buttons?
They had the icons for buttons in the beginning. There.
Those?
Andrei is asking if those are Romanian.
I don't know, this is just asset from GitHub.
You don't know
But-
where you got it from?
Wait, but which?
Like the button icons for buttons.
Like, I don't know. Like, this is not in the project yet, but I want to use this asset. So like.
Okay, I'm just very certain that it is Romanian because I know who made it. It's from those awesome guys.
Yeah.
Most likely.
Okay. So thanks.
I know because he was one of the first and only investors, first investors that I talked to try to convince to invest in Spelkollektivet. Well, and that failed just like we did. So, if you wanna see more now, if you wanna see success stories, come back next week. Bye.